Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So on today's show, I'll be doing a full winter car prep of this 2018 Volkswagen GTi. So we're gonna detail it completely. The owner just got his brand new car, and of course he wants to protect it for years to come. As you can tell, it's pretty dirty already. It's crazy winter time here in Montreal, Canada. So we have freezing temperatures and already lots of snowfall. So it accumulated lots of dirt. So we're gonna first start by cleaning the wheels. We'll then move on to cleaning the body or the paintwork. So we're going to do a decon wash followed by mechanical decontamination with a clay bar if it needs it, and iron decontamination, so the chemical decontamination to remove any embedded iron particles from the clear coat. We're going to assess of course the state of the paint. We're going to move on to do some paint polishing to restore some pop and gloss, and of course to make sure that there are no scratches or swirl marks that might have been installed by the dealer because of poor preparation that they normally do, or for any other reason during transport. And of course we're going to go ahead after that and protect the paint with 2 coats of a ceramic coating followed by a silica spray sealant to make sure that during the week that the coating continues to cure, that the paint is of course perfect in these temperatures. And you never know, if you get any rain or sleet, stuff like that, you don't want any water spotting, so those 7 first days are crucial. So you're going to see me go through all the motions. Of course, as usual, no worries, all the products will be linked in the description down below for you guys to check them out. But yeah, you know the drill. Let's go ahead and start the show. All right guys, so we're going to first start by rinsing off the vehicle. Something a bit different today in this video. A lot of viewers have asked me to do real-time footage, so I'm not going to fast forward any of the sequences. So you guys let me know in the comment section down below if you like this kind of thing. And of course you're going to have the sights and sounds, so no background music, so you guys can just sit back and relax. Again, all the products and tools will be linked in the description down below, so just don't worry about that. Enjoy the show. So we're going to first start by cleaning the wheels with Adam's wheel cleaner. It contains an iron remover as well. So you're going to see all that transparent liquid turn to a purple color, signifying that it's loosened up and probably started melting away and chewing away at the iron filings that are maybe embedded in the wheels. While that's doing its thing, we're spraying Adam's tire and rubber cleaner. So it's important to degrease the tires properly before you apply a tire dressing. That way the dressing bonds to the tire much better. So to scrub, we're going to use a Tough Shine tire brush. So it's a stiff bristle brush with, of course, synthetic fibers on it. And it's great to scrub the tires. And when all that's done, well, all that's left to do is to take the Speedmaster brush. There's also the equivalent Easy Detail brush. So that's a brush that I like for the use of the inner barrels, as you'll see. So you got to make sure you clean the inside part of the wheels as well. And when all that is done, you just go ahead and rinse off. So for the face of the wheels, I like to use this Detail Factory boar hair brush. It's perfect to get in between the spokes, as you can see. These are pretty tight spokes, and also into where the lug nuts are, so that's very important as well to clean all that section off. So it just allows you to get to all the details of more intricate rim designs. I always like to add a bit of protection to the wheels as well, so for the face of the rims and of course the inner barrels and even the calipers. Today I'm using Sonax Spray and Seal, so it's a synthetic spray sealant. It's a spray on and immediately rinse off formula, so it not only boosts a little bit of the gloss but adds protection as well for a couple of months there. So as you can tell, it's easy spray on and rinse off, and that's it. Your wheels are protected. So of course they're easier to wash, and it helps prevent against the accumulation of dirt and brake dust. Now we're going to use a stripping soap. So this is Adam's Strip Wash. We're going to add 3 ounces of soap to the 5-gallon wash bucket. And what this does, well, of course, it adds lubrication while you're washing the car, but more importantly, it helps to remove any old layers of waxes or paint sealants that might be on the paint. So it's very important before we go ahead and apply future ceramic coatings on the vehicle to make sure we strip away any previous waxes or paint sealants, and of course to make sure that all that is really off, we're going to follow that eventually with paint decontamination and of course the polishing stages, because the mechanical action of a DA polisher and the pads and the polishes will help remove all of those ancient waxes and sealant layers, and of course remove any scratches or marring that might be in the paint. So you want your paint to be as squeaky clean as possible, free of any previous layers of protection and free of any marring, swarring, or swirl marks and stuff like that. Remove any oxidation and restore gloss. So that's the purpose of all this decon wash, the future decontamination steps, and the paint polishing techniques. So when I'm washing, I always work from top to bottom, because of course the bottom parts of the vehicle are the dirtiest, so you want to avoid cross-contamination. Also, I work in straight lines, as you can tell, so as to avoid as much swirls and scratches as possible. And I use a 3-bucket wash method, so 1 bucket exclusively for the wheels, because those are really the dirtiest parts of the vehicle. And as you saw, we first started with cleaning the wheels. And then when you clean the paintwork, I use the 2-bucket wash method for the paint. So 1 bucket containing a soapy solution with your favorite pH neutral car soap, or in this case, a stripping soap. And the 2nd bucket containing rinse water. So when you're done your first pass, you dunk your mitt back into the rinse one to remove any dirt. Of course, there are some grit guards in the bottom there, protecting, of course, separating all the dirt and grit from the rest of your wash solution. And then you dip your mitt back into the wash bucket with your wash solution, and you continue, and so on and so forth. Again, it's all in the details, guys, but I use the Detail Factory boar hair brush to also go and clean the inner parts of the grills or more difficult to access areas. So this is a perfect example here, the honeycomb grills. You want to make sure you remove all the dirt that's in those cracks and the nooks and crannies or harder to reach areas that your wash mitt can do. All right, for the first decon stage, we're using an iron remover. So this is CarPro Iron X. So it removes any embedded iron particles from the wheels, the glass, the paintwork, or any exterior plastics. Basically any brake dust or industrial fallout that might be embedded into the clear coat. That's what usually generates those orange rust spots because it oxidizes with contact of water and air. So you spray the product on, let it dwell for 3 to 4 minutes. It's going to turn from a translucent, transparent color to a purple color, signifying that it's ready to be rinsed off. So you thoroughly rinse off. Of course, I recommend to always work in a well-ventilated area. And that's the first step of the decon. So for the second decon stage, we're actually going to perform a claybar stage. In this case, it's actually a clay towel. So it's a nanoskin clay towel with Geon clay lubricant. It's always important to use a high quality lubricant when you're claying a vehicle. Of course, I only suggest that you clay paint if it really needs it. So you run your fingers on the paintwork, especially in the lower parts of the panels, and if you feel a gritty surface, kind of like sandpaper, or you feel some bonded contaminants, that's when you know that you're ready to clay. Because of course, clay is a mild abrasive, and it might scratch and mar your paint very lightly. That's why we usually follow the clay stages by paint polishing stages. So you basically spray a lot of lubricant onto the paint, and you scrub the paint up and down and left and right. And when that's done, you rinse the product off. Okay, so now that we thoroughly rinsed the vehicle, it's time to dry the paintwork. I start with a microfiber drying towel. This is the Rag Company twisted loop microfiber drying towel, so super soft and gentle for the paint and is very absorbent, as you can tell. For the glass, I like to use a squeegee, and I remove the excess from the squeegee with a microfiber drying towel. To make sure I remove any remaining standing water from more harder to reach areas, like in the grills, the mirrors, the door jambs, door sills, and the wheels, I use a car dryer. This is my Metrovac Master Blaster Revolution. You can also use the smaller Metrovac Sidekick Blaster. These are very good because they pulse dry and heated air. And of course, well, exactly helps, as you can tell, even after we dried off the car with a microfiber towel, there was still some water remaining in the harder to reach areas. So it's very important to remove any water before you go ahead with the paint polishing and paint protection stages. For the paint polishing stage, we used CarPro Essence. Now this is an extreme gloss enhancer, and it also acts as a primer for a ceramic coating. It has some minor filling agents inside there, so semi-permanent fillers. So for any very light scratches or swirls, it's perfect to mask those away. The paint was actually pretty much flawless, so this just helped bump it up a notch. We're using CarPro Gloss Pad. This is a white finishing pad, and I'm using my Rupes LHR15 Mark II DA polisher to do the work. So you first start by dabbing the polish onto the 2x2 section that you're working on. You start with low speed, so speed setting number 2. You slowly spread the product on the surface, and then you crank up the speed to roughly 4.5 to 5. And then you do successive passes, so up and down and left to right. Very minimal pressure. Let the machine do the job. And once you're done with your passes, we're going to use an IPA wipe down to make sure that we see what the paint looks like, and a swirl finder light to inspect the work that we've done to see if we need to do any more passes. So when you're done any polishing stages, you want to go ahead and do an IPA wipe down. This is CarPro Eraser. It's essentially a commercial solution of an IPA, or isopropyl alcohol mix. And these products help to remove any leftover polishing oils or residue left from the polishing stages. So that's very important because you want your paint to be free of any oils, and you need to leave it very squeaky clean before you go ahead and apply 2 layers of ceramic coating on top. And this is to ensure proper bonding of the ceramic coating with the paintwork. With our swirl finder light, this is a Rupes LED pen light. While we're looking for any imperfections that still might be there, we inspect our work, and if everything's fine, well, that's when we know that we're good to go with the paint protection stage. So talking about paint protection, well, in this case, we're applying one of the best forms of ceramic coatings. Now, this is CarPro Seaquartz UK 3.0, perfect for colder climates and more humid environments, hence the UK edition. This is a glossier version of their previous successful UK, and it won first place in my 2018 Car Detailing Products Awards video for the category of ceramic coatings. So we're going to first start by applying the first layer. So as you can tell, we apply a couple of beads of the product on the microsuede applicator and foam block, and in movements of up and down and left to right, which is a crosshatch pattern, we're applying the product to the paint. You can work half a panel or quarter panel as you wish. As you get used with the product, of course, it flashes differently according to the environment and humidity levels or temperatures. And what flashing means that you see a rainbow effect on the paint when the carrier or the solvent has evaporated. So that's when you know that it's time to buff the product away. So typically with the UK 3.0, it's anywhere from 30 seconds to about a minute. After you've applied it, you're ready to buff off. So after 30 seconds to a minute, it's time to buff off or level the coating off to remove any high spots. And we're using the Rag Company Pearl Weave microfiber towel. I like the Pearl Weave because it's a low nap and it's perfect to level ceramic coatings. It's a fairly inexpensive towel because once you're done removing a ceramic coating, you do not want to reuse that towel, so you're going to have to throw it away in the garbage. So you do want a quality towel, but something that's not too expensive, and this fits the bill perfectly, and it's also very soft for the paint, so no risk of scratching or marring. So once you're done removing the ceramic coating, which by the way was also applied to headlights and taillights, and you can apply that to chrome too. Well, we're going to be ready for stage number 2, which is a second coat of a ceramic coating. So you wait 1 hour in between coats, and then you go ahead and apply the second layer. Essentially, people ask, does a second layer necessarily mean twice the protection? Not necessarily. We usually apply a second layer to make sure that we have even coverage, because it's quite possible you missed a spot or two once you applied the first coat. So with the second one, you just make sure you get even coverage. So now we're applying the second coat. Again, movements of up and down and left to right, crosshash pattern. And then 30 seconds to a minute later, or maybe a bit more depending on your conditions. Just make sure it never gets to the point where it's too tacky to be removed. But you simply buff off or level the coating off. And that is the end of the second coat. So after the 2 coats, in under an hour after the final coat, you got to apply CarPro Reload or any other silica-based spray sealant. And the reason for this is during the first week that you've applied a ceramic coating, it still continues to cure, and ceramic coatings are very prone to water spotting. So to prevent water spotting issues, you add a third layer of the silica spray sealant, and that will help prevent any water spotting and of course add a bit more protection while the underlying 2 layers of ceramic coatings are still curing. Also, during the first 24 hours after you've applied the ceramic coating, do not expose the vehicle to water or rain. That's very important because, again, you want to prevent those water spotting issues, and you want to let at least the first 24 hours of time to for the coatings to cure. And also during the first week, as it cures, you're going to see an increase in gloss and slickness as well. All right, to clean the glass, make sure you use a quality ammonia-free glass cleaner, especially if you have tinted windows. This is the Adams glass cleaner, works very well. And you're going to notice I'm using a little mitt. It's called a glass smitten, and it's a dual-side microfiber mitt from the Rag company. So it has one waffle weave side and one more traditional terry weave, I guess, on the other side. So it's a dual microfiber. So what I do is I spread the product and clean with one side, the waffle weave side, and then I flip the towel around and I do the final buffing. So it gives you streak-free glass, and it's super cool to use. I always like to over-deliver. So in this case, I'm going to apply a protectant on the glass, and this is PNS Bead Maker. You've probably seen one of my recent videos. I just love this stuff on the paint, but it's also good for basically any exterior surface, including glass. I'm also using the Rag Company Eagle Edgeless 500 Super Plush Microfiber Towel to apply it on the glass. So essentially it gives you 1 to 2 months of protection. The beading it's going to give to glass is absolutely great. It adds a little bit of gloss and a nice little finishing touch for glass. You can also apply Meguiar's Express Synthetic Spray Wax. So basically, yeah, it just gives that extra touch of care that you do on a customer's vehicle. Now for the tires, this is my final step. I apply a tire dressing. So this is a CarPro Pearl. It's a vinyl, rubber, and plastics dressing, but I love it for rubber. I dilute it 1:1 with distilled water. I use the Adams Polishes Hex Grip tire dressing applicator. This is one of my favorite ones to apply tire dressings, super easy to use. So you apply a fairly thin coat. It gives that deep, rich black look and that satin finish. So not too glossy, not too matte, just that perfect blend. And it's the great finishing touch, of course, on any detailed vehicle. So guys, as you can tell, the results are absolutely outstanding. The car is protected for up to 2 years, but more importantly, of course, it is super glossy. It has crazy hydrophobic properties now, so the water is going to bead off and sheet off extremely well. The vehicle is also going to have self-cleaning properties thanks to the ceramic coating, meaning that the vehicle is going to be a lot easier to wash during maintenance washes for the owner. There's UV protection built in, and of course, the paint is super slick to the touch. We all love that feel. So a quick recap of the products, the tools, and the steps that were performed today while you look at the final results. So essentially, we first started by cleaning the wheels and tires. So for the rubber, I used Adams Tire and Rubber Cleaner. So it's very important to degrease the tires properly before adding a tire dressing. We then went ahead and cleaned the wheels themselves with Adams Wheel Cleaner, which has an iron remover built in as well. Once all of that was done with the necessary brushes, we went ahead and rinsed, and then we applied Sonax Spray and Seal. Now that's a paint sealant, and I love that on the wheels because it's very easy to apply. You spray on and you rinse off, and that's it. So you can protect the calipers and the inner barrels of the wheels as well. We then moved on to a strip wash of the vehicle using Adams Strip Wash. So it's essentially a soap that's going to help to remove any old layers of waxes or paint sealants that might have been applied by the dealership or at the factory, who knows. So we want the paint as squeaky clean as possible. So that's first step of the decon. Next, we moved on to a chemical decontamination with an iron remover. So we used CarPro Iron X. Once that was done, we rinsed away. Then we went ahead with mechanical decontamination. So I used a nanoskin clay towel with Geon Clay Lube as a lubricant. So very important. I felt by running my fingers on the paint that there was some embedded contamination. So that's the test to know if your vehicle actually needs a clay bar. You only perform a clay bar stage if the vehicle really needs it. So once that was done, we also rinsed away. And then we went ahead and polished the paint. That was very important. Well, of course, the vehicle was dried up. First, using the Rag Company microfiber drying towels. They were twisted loop towels, some of my favorite. Then we also used my Metrovac Master Blaster Revolution. Now that's a car dryer with warm filtered air to make sure we got the water out of all the nooks and crannies and cracks. So then we moved on to polish the paint using my Rupes LHR15 Mark II DA polisher. We used a CarPro gloss pad, so that's a white finishing pad that's made to go along with CarPro Essence. Now that's a crazy polish that adds a lot of gloss, will hide minor scratch or imperfections, but also serves as a primer for ceramic coatings. And talking about ceramic coatings, well, once we were done with Essence, we went ahead and did a wipe down of the vehicle using an IPA, namely CarPro Eraser. Now, an IPA is an isopropyl alcohol mix that's made to remove any polishing oils that might be left over from the polishing stages, because you want your paint to be as squeaky clean as possible. So once the paint was dried up, then we went ahead and applied 2 layers of CarPro Seaquartz UK 3.0. Now that's their latest ceramic coating offering. So very easy to apply. You apply in crosshatch pattern, up and down and left to right. After 30 seconds, you buff off, 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure you watch the flash time. What I mean about flash time is once you apply the ceramic coating, you're gonna see it change colors and give off a rainbow effect. That means it's ready to buff off or level off. And so to level off the coating, well, we used a microfiber towel from the Rag company that I love for ceramic coatings, and that's the Rag company Pearl towel. So essentially we leveled the coating off to make sure there's no high spots. And once the 2 layers were applied, of course, I waited 1 hour in between layers. And then at the end, to make sure I protect the paint, because for the next 7 days, the ceramic coating is going to cure on the vehicle. So I went ahead and applied a layer of CarPro Reload. That's a silica-based spray sealant. So you apply that on the vehicle and it prevents water spotting, because of course, ceramic coatings are prone to water spotting issues. So to alleviate that, you apply a silica-based spray sealant. And that's it. So the vehicle now is fully protected. We went ahead and cleaned the glass using Adam's glass cleaner. And why not protect the glass? Always over deliver to your customers, guys. So I applied Bead Maker from P&S. You guys saw my recent video. It's an awesome spray on paint sealant. So it can be used on glass, and that's what I did here. So it's an awesome way to protect the glass and the trim as well. And for the wheels, well, we dressed the tires with CarPro Pearl, diluted 1:1, so 1 in 1 with water. And it gives off a very nice satin feel to it and a nice finish, and it lasts quite a long time. So, well, essentially the vehicle now is fully protected, is super clean, very glossy, and I hope the owner is going to enjoy the results as usual. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, smash the thumbs up button. I remind you that all the products that I talked about today will be linked in the description down below for you guys to check them out. Also, if you haven't done so yet and you want to continue to learn more about car detailing, products, equipments, tips, tricks, techniques, all that good stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button that's found under this video. And that way you'll subscribe to my channel, show me your support, and never miss my future videos. So guys, thanks for being there, thanks for watching, and in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.